Hi guys, we're going to have a short lesson today. It shouldn't take too long. We're just going to look at the different parts of the fetus while it's in the uterus. So if you'll please just watch this screencast in its entirety and then open up your unit packet in your Google Drive and go to page or slide 4. That's where you'll put the notes, and you can refer back to the video as you need to. So we're going to actually start with the placenta. So the placenta is the organ that's attached to the endometrium lining. Now, it's what filters and transfers nutrients and oxygen from the mother to the fetus. Right? So when the mother eats healthy foods, and even not healthy foods, those nutrients get passed to the fetus through the placenta. The placenta doesn't filter out bad things though. So if the mother is taking drugs, whether they're prescription or illegal, some of those cross the placenta and the baby can get some of those drugs. Things like nicotine and tobacco and alcohol, all of those things cross the placenta. The placenta is in place by about the 12th week of pregnancy. Before that, the baby receives nutrients and oxygen from something called the yolk sac, and it actually looks like an egg yolk. It's kind of yellow and kind of floats there next to the baby. By about 10 weeks of pregnancy, the yolk sac sort of starts to disintegrate, and then by 12 weeks, it's pretty much gone, and the placenta is taking over. All right, my next picture is a picture of an actual placenta. It's delivered after the baby, so if you're kind of squeamish, maybe close your eyes for a second. But that's what it looks like. You can see all of the blood vessels that are filtering and then allowing nutrients and oxygen to go through the umbilical cord to the fetus. Now the placenta is delivered in after the baby is born, so your body makes a new placenta with each pregnancy. Some people have their placenta dried and then put into pill form and then take it because they think it's like a nutritious thing. Other people might even eat it like you would eat like a piece of meat. That's kind of gross to me, but you do you. No judgments. You want to dry and eat your placenta, you go right ahead and do it. Now, the placenta is attached to the fetus through the umbilical cord. All right, that's what's passing nutrients and oxygen from the mother to the fetus. And then the fetus's waste is returned to the mother. Okay, so it kind of has two purposes. If you look really close, you can see all of kind of like the vessels and things like that. Now the baby's blood and the mother's blood does not ever mix. All right, it stays separate. That's two separate things. So don't think that like the mother's blood is going through there. It's not. It's just the nutrients and oxygen. So when the baby's born, they clamp off the umbilical cord and then they cut it between the clamps. And then you just kind of wait for it to dry up. I'm gonna be honest, it's kind of gross. All right, just keep it dry. You don't have to add anything to it, but it kind of shrivels up like a crusty raisin, and then eventually it will fall off. Some people save it. Again, you do you. Whatever you need to do. I'm not gonna judge you, but yuck. All right, then we have the uterus. Now it's called the womb because it's housing this fetus that's growing. We talked about this in reproduction. It's that hollow pear-shaped organ. It expands during pregnancy, and then it contracts during delivery. All right, the baby is surrounded by a fluid, and we call that fluid amniotic fluid. It's there for a couple of different reasons. First, it guards against jolts. Like, as a woman is pregnant and her stomach is expanding, she bumps into a lot of things. The amniotic fluid protects that baby. Kind of like, think of it like as an airbag, a liquidy airbag to protect it. It keeps the temperature stable. It allows the fetus to move, and as it's growing all of these organs and limbs, it allows that to happen. And then it keeps pressure off of the umbilical cord because it becomes buoyant. At about 36 weeks, there are about 4 cups of fluid, and when they say that a woman's water breaks, that's what they're talking about. That fluid either comes gushing out or it kind of leaks out in like a little dribble. Now the fluid is held in an amniotic sac. Now this is a super strong, clear membrane. All right, usually it breaks before delivery, either from the pressure of pushing down, the baby's head pushing down, or the doctor will just reach up there with a little kind of hook. It looks like a crochet hook, honestly, and they'll break it because that stimulates labor to begin. All right, so most of the time it's broken. There are a few cases where babies are born completely in the sac, And so I'm going to show you a picture of it. It's called an on-call birth. So you can see that it's that clear, strong membrane. The baby's not going to scratch through it even if they have long fingernails. It's pretty strong. All right, and you can see he's just all bundled up in there, and the doctor's going to like and kind of nick that with the hook, or maybe even a scalpel in this case, and the water will fall out, and then the baby will take its first breath. But it's kind of cool. It's supposed to be super lucky if your baby's born like this, because it's very rare, but it's kind of cool to look at it. All right, next is your cervix. Now remember, that's the opening to the uterus, and it is usually 1 centimeter. All right, and during labor, it has to go from 1 centimeter all the way up to 10. All right, now because we use everyday objects to kind of describe this, you're going to see a lot of food as we talk about labor and delivery. So 1 centimeter is about the size of a Cheerio. All right, and then it just gets bigger. We're going to use food to kind of describe it. Here's a baseball. 8 centimeters is about a baseball. And you have to get all the way to 10 before the baby's head can come down. All right, this is the hardest part of labor and delivery, is waiting to dilate and then getting to that 10. All right, and then last is the vaginal canal or the birth canal. This is the muscular tube that leads from the external genitals or the labia to the cervix. All right, so as the baby is getting ready to be delivered, it's going to go down into the birth canal if it's a vaginal birth. So that's all we're going to talk about today. Please go back and answer the discussion question on Canvas so you can get credit for logging on today. And I hope you guys have a great week. Thanks. Bye.